In this episode, I want to have more of an experiential conversation with you. If you are open and ready to it, if now's not the best time for you, I welcome you to save this episode for later at a time where you might be a little more available. If you're driving in the car or walking, this is accessible to you. But if you're really busy with multiple things on your mind, it might not be the best environment for you in this episode. So, some context, I just finished a 4 day Somatics experiencing training with Somatic Experiencing International. This is the second training I've done. And what I was most struck by in this training is how our bodies are naturally built to both survive and in that survival to heal. And oftentimes those inclinations get interrupted, so we don't get to complete the healing, we don't get to complete the survival. If you want to imagine it in this way, that stress response or the ways our bodies respond in the face of threat gets stuck. And so we might find ourselves chronically tense or stressed or unable to relax or tight, any of those fight, flight, or freeze responses that you've probably heard of. And in my work and what I do, I want to help you heal. My work is designed to help facilitate healing in relation to the scary responses you've learned around food and exercise and your body. And it's not a one and done thing, it's a process, which is partly why the 4-H method is not a container with an end date. It's an open, continual space to be in. And having coached some clients for years, I see the extreme benefit of staying with something and having a place to return to and ground you and where you can deepen your learnings. So I'm going to just invite you to, let's go with exercise. I want you to recall a time recently, and this is not anything that's super stressful or charged. It's maybe just a passing thought of when you had the idea that you should exercise. Maybe you were thinking of planning a gym session, or you were thinking of going on a walk, or you were thinking of doing some movement. And I'm going to come into this space with you. And of course, this is way, 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 way more helpful individually to you if we're doing it one on one or in a group session where you can be alive with it. So if you would like to do a coaching session on this, I have links on my website, mlroscoe.com, to book a session with me. Also, on my social media, you'll find it in the link in my bio if you'd like to do this more deeply and more personally. But just recalling to mind a time when you considered doing exercise. And before we get into that, let's go into our environment a little bit more, wherever you are. You might look around you and see anything that catches your attention. It might be a color, a shape, something that represents a memory. I see some plants in front of me. I see a beautiful tree outside the window. I see a bright red King Princess girl violence poster my girlfriend went to, a cute drawing on the wall. I can see my little cat baby boy Jayu to the left of me. He's sleeping. So there's plenty of things that capture my attention that bring pleasantness to my body. Something that makes you feel good. And notice what happens in your body as you do this. And all we're doing here is just noticing and being with. Maybe you can hear some sounds around you that feel pleasant, that feel accessible. I can hear my Nyanyi girl snoring in the back of the room and the hum of a heater at my feet, keeping us warm on this chilly day. Instead, you might want to come into contact with sensations in your body, like the surface you're sitting on or standing on or lying on. Perhaps how your clothes feel on your skin. And again, I want to share and disclaim that this is not comprehensive. This is a completely different experience when you're listening to it versus when you're experiencing it with a practitioner. And again, if you'd like to, I invite you to schedule a time with me if this interests you in finding more healing in your body and your nervous system around food, exercise your body. This is what the 4-H method is designed to do overall, with it, the innate belief that your body is whole and capable of healing. And we just need to allow those processes and facilitate those processes. I'm intentionally going slow and allowing space. So you're not losing a connection here. Just to give you a taste of what it feels like in this podcast episode. You might recall what you were doing at the time this thought of working out or exercising arose. And then rather than the thought being more prominent, let's see if we can lean into a little bit the sensations in your body as you thought of this and what immediately came up for you when you considered doing exercise. Notice where it lands in your body. For me, it lands a little bit in my chest. There's somewhat of a startled awakening. Notice where it lands for you. And with just some curiosity, what are the sensations happening in your body? What shape might it be? What quality might it be? Those sensations. And we can just be with it for a little bit here. Take your time, take your breath. And then I'm going to invite you to come back to your environment. It might be what you were noticing before that caught your eye. It could be a soothing sound, or sensations on your body, wherever you're seated or standing, lying, walking. And lean into whatever feels pleasant just a little bit more. And then notice what happens in your body as you do that. Letting yourself follow what feels pleasant and good. And what shifts inside your body as you do that. You might notice a shift in your movements, maybe your hands, your legs, your head, maybe even just a general posture. And we're going to revisit, taking our time, no rush. We're going to revisit that thought of planning to exercise and revisit that memory. And with a little more resource from this present moment and what you've been sensing in your body, notice if there's any change from before when you thought of this moment. Of preparing to exercise, or your body considering the preparation of exercise. You might notice a shift in your breath, your body again, your hands, your feet. Just stay with that. And then once more in this brief practice, just a little taste. Again, I can't know what is happening for you, but I trust that you can hear my voice and follow along. Just get a taste of this. Let's just come back one more time. And even as you're here, widening your scope of view, perhaps noticing more in your environment. I notice I naturally am taking in more space than I did in the beginning and noticing more colors. I see an art patchwork of a of birds, colorful birds and flowers that is catching my attention, and I didn't even notice it before. I notice that I'm leaning a little bit more gently in my chair and I'm holding less stiffness, taking in more sounds. And what has returned in my body, as I notice and I'm sharing with you, is just a higher sense of aliveness and engagement with my environment. And if I come back to a thought of preparing to exercise, I feel a little more confident in myself, a little less fear in my body, more relaxation and trust that I'll do what's right for me and I don't have to do anything that my body does not want to do. And what I hope to demonstrate here, your experience might be, what the fuck? Your experience might be, I don't know what you're doing, Michelle. This is weird and wild. And that's all okay. It's okay. It's okay. There's no right or wrong outcome. But what I hope to do here is just to demonstrate how our bodies give signals, our bodies speak a language. And as we learn to speak the language of our body by listening and responding and being with, because our bodies speak a different language than our brain thinks in words and planning and strategy, and that's valuable. But there's a lower, deeper part of us that is talking to us all the time, all the time through our nervous system. And so when we are told in our brains, hey, you need to do this workout, this is going to be good for you, our brains might take that in as, yeah, I should do this. I need to do this exercise. I need to do this workout. And I'm using the example of working out, but in the 4-H method in my work, we explore how it relates to your body and to food as well. But just for this episode, honing in on exercise, your brain hears exercise is good for you and I need to do this workout and I need to make sure I get this in and oh I also need to do that a stretch and I need to do yoga and I should do strength training and I should do our brains hear all of this and not all of this information is accurate in that it's not scientifically based because internet world, but we hear these thoughts in our brains, but our bodies and in our brains, we might know, yeah, that's a good thing, but our bodies might respond differently. Whether that's because in the past you've had some pretty traumatic experiences with exercise. And I would say for most of us, especially, I'm not even going to say especially women, but those of us who have been raised socially as women have had a lot more pressure, have experienced a lot more body pressure around movement, around food, around our bodies. And so while the fitness world is, we'll use the analogy, speaking to our brains in all these ways, our bodies are telling a different story. So if you find that you struggle with exercise, whether you are on the side of, I always have to move, I always have to move. And if I don't work out, I feel really uncomfortable and I feel stressed. And like, if I don't have my exercise, then, that's my therapy and I need it. Or if you're on the side of, I know I should work out and I know I should be doing more, but I just can't bring myself to do it. And I feel good for a little bit if I go on a walk or if I do something, but then I feel paralyzed. I feel like there's handcuffs on my arms or I'm in a prison cell. It's like I can't move. I can't get myself to move. What's happening is your brain, the language of your brain is not matching the language of your body. Your body is telling a different story than what maybe you would even like it to tell. And so healing doesn't come just from knowing more or knowing what to do in your head. It comes from knowing how to connect with your body and let your body heal in the ways that it needs to. So in the 4-H method, we start with rest, and that's what most of us need. We need to slow down. We need to prioritize rest. We need to sleep more. We need to align with what our spirits need, our aliveness needs. And so you're supported and encouraged in that. And then what we do with food and exercise, eventually in the 4-H method, after doing some other foundational work, is we get in touch with the stories our bodies are telling us. We get in touch with the stories our bodies are telling us around exercise and food. And we kind of throw out the stories in our brains. And I give you not just encouragement, but scientific backing for it, cultural backing for it, of why it's relevant and helpful to throw out the brain stories. what we've been socially, culturally conditioned to think about movement and exercise and how it benefits us in the more harmful ways, and then to get in touch with our bodies again. And it is a little tricky because it is like learning to speak a new language. It can be awkward, and I've learned several languages and studied even more. And so I know what it's like to not know and to be a beginner and like to feel like a baby, even though you have full intelligence in learning a new language. And that's the best. There's so many different analogies I could use for learning your nervous system, but I like this one because it's so applicable. Your body really does speak a different language than your brain, and most of us haven't learned how to speak the language of our body. We know innately, but we haven't been encouraged to do so or guided to do so. And sure, you can learn a language on your own, but it really helps to have someone to practice with, someone who understands the language of the body to practice with. So even if it's not with me, connecting with a skilled somatic worker can be helpful. And I think evolutionarily, we're learning the importance of this, and more people are learning that our bodies do speak a separate language and how important it is in our world to be connected with it. But I take you through this process in a progressive and systematic and supported way in the 4-H method. Because the most amazing thing I realized in this training and that I keep coming back to in my working with health is our bodies know how to heal, and they lean towards health and aliveness. And if we move with it and work with it, we can see that we have what we need inside us. We have the healing capabilities inside us. And it is both empowering and beautiful to witness and to experience. If you're interested in doing a session like this, if you're a part of the 4-H method, you get access, you get special access to me as your coach and scheduling coaching. We also do weekly coaching sessions, and you have messaging access to me. But if you're really just interested in doing a session, you can always book one with me again on my website or in my Linktree bio. Our bodies are incredible. There's nothing wrong with your body. And the struggles that you have with fitness, with health, with exercise and food, your body, they're there for a reason. And they don't have to hold you back. And I love you, and I wish so much healing for you and freedom and joy and peace, because it is possible. You can have those things and you deserve them. Please reach out to me if you have any questions or just want to talk about this with me.